Welcome to Single Leg Parlay, the podcast where we give you our favorite picks. We talk bullshit about the last week's football games. We're doing the NFL Week 2 preview. Let's crack a beer, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, that whiskey hits.
Ooh, Matt's on the hard stuff. So
Stepped it up.
this is Al. That's Matt. Andy's over there. We're running the light version tonight. So we're just going to do real quick. We're going to run through the games we're most excited for, give you our best bets, and then discuss some of the money line and teaser plus money juicy picks that we might sprinkle a little bit on this week. So let's get started. Matt, what's the game that you're most excited about this week?
The game I'm most excited about is Colts-Packers. And you may be asking, why Colts-Packers? There's a lot better games. Anthony Richardson has something. I don't know what that something is. It can be really good. It can also be really bad. He could have mediocre stats and then backleg a 70-yard bomb. He is truly Jekyll and Hyde.
It was not a 70-yard bomb. It was 1 yard less than that.
Oh, it was nice. He had a nice pass.
He did. It was a nice bomb.
Nice pass.
I thought it was disrespectful. Everywhere I saw online, they referred to it as a 60-yard pass, and I'm like, this is like almost 70. Like, let's not be calling this thing 60. This dude, off his back foot, launched it from I think the 32-yard line down to the 2-yard line, just about. I guess.
Here's a fun stat for you guys. Since high school, Anthony Richardson has started 18 games as a quarterback. 18. It's like it's a friggin' puzzle.
That is insane. That's crazy.
I'll verify this stat in a second to make sure I'm just not talking out of my ass. But he's had a lot of injury issues. But when he's out there, he has something. He clearly has the arm strength. I didn't understand when he got drafted, but he does some remarkable things. Also, you got a Green Bay Packers side that just gave Love the bag. Love is hurt. Malik Willis. It seems like a perfect spot to go get yourself a Ryan Tannehill for a couple weeks. I'm surprised they didn't go get a Ryan Tannehill for a couple weeks. So there's a lot of different elements here. It is not the sexiest game. There are a couple games that are far sexier, but I'm very intrigued to see what this will be. I do not know what to do with the spread of this game. I'm going to be honest. It is a puzzle, but it should be a very fun game to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm intrigued by the action on this game. I imagine there's going to be heavy betting on the Colts side here, to the point where there's another game, the Panthers game, but this Colts Packers game is going to be one that I think the sports books are going to very much be rooting for the Packers to cover. My favorite game this week, the one I'm most excited for, is the Bengals getting right against the Chiefs. So the Chiefs looked good in opening the season, right? The Bengals did not. They could not score. They could not move the ball. But the Patriots kind of have a good defense. So that, I feel like it's a hard barometer to gauge the Bengals as a team in week 1 against a stout defense, even though, they did hold the Patriots to 18 points. So it really wasn't that hard to it's a little bit tricky to work out just how good or bad the Bengals are. So I'm interested to see how they perform against the Chiefs, kind of playing up to a higher level of talent. You guys have thoughts on that one at all?
Yeah, that one's super interesting because I think the line is Chiefs -6. And after watching both of those teams in week 1, and the Chiefs have an extra, 3 days, something like that.
Yeah, it's true.
It's kind of hard to believe that it's under a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in trap lines, but that is kind of what it feels like, right? That they want you to lay the 6 with the Chiefs. I haven't pulled the trigger either way yet, though.
Yeah. Andy, what's your game of the week here that you're most intrigued by?
This is definitely a little bit of a homer pick, but Bills at Dolphins on Thursday night. Both teams that have aspirations of making the playoffs and making a run. Both teams that did not look very good in the first half in week 1. And they kind of got it together by the end. They're going to be on a short week. So it's kind of interesting to see if they can keep up what they got going in the third and fourth quarters, or if that slow start shows up again.
Yeah. The Bills. The Bills looked weird. It was a weird day because I usually rely on them to be pretty good defensively. They didn't look like it. Kyler Murray has a tendency to do that regardless of who you are. He can be special on days. Like, he's not always special, but sometimes he has special moments. The numbers moving in a weird way here. The Dolphins keep gaining ground on the spread, right? Because I think it opened at -1.5. Now it's up to -2.5, and it looks like it may hit -3. So someone knows something that I do not know here, because I would have probably had this number closer to a pick 'em. Miami has an advantage in Buffalo when we play during the day, and every time we play them in September in Miami, it ends up being we wear them out with the heat. This ain't going to be that. It's a very interesting game, and I don't really know what to make of it. But of course, I'm going to be watching either way. But I don't know what else to make of the game.
Yeah, my theory is that the Bills aren't that good, and that the Cardinals, instead of being good and looking good against the Bills, are actually just still bad. And so that's maybe where the hope is, that the Dolphins are actually a good bit better than this Bills team, because the Bills, they lost a lot of players this offseason. They don't have like any receivers. So yeah, it's a new offense.
I have a good buddy at work who is a huge Buffalo fan, and been talking to him a lot about it. And he said the same thing, that this is kind of a reloading year for them. Not in the way that like the Carolina Panthers are reloading, but that they're not going to be like top one or two teams in the AFC.
Yeah, it's like a wild card or bust kind of thing, not a.
Yeah, that was his take on it. So.
Well, I hope he's right.
Me too. I thought he was the first 3 quarters on Sunday.
Yeah. So this seems like as good a spot as any to mention that we give out a whole slew of picks here on Single Leg Parlay. You can go to singlelegparlay.com, subscribe to our Substack. You get all of those picks to your inbox automatically. If you download the Substack app, they come right to your phone. Here's a list of our plays. Bet them, make money, be happy. Last week, we won 20 of our 28 picks, 6 losses, 2 pushes. So that's something like 12 units up on a single week. That's very good. That's very, very good. Any touts out there are not going to hit numbers like that. Was some of it luck? I'm sure a little bit, but I'm pretty, I think last season we were consistently as a group hitting around 60%, which is very good as well. 77% or something like that this past week. So, I think put a little bit of faith in our picks. So instead of us running through all 30 picks or whatever we have this week, we're just going to give you our favorite picks now. You go ahead and bet those. I think, full disclosure, they went 2-2 last week. Not great, but could be much worse. So let's actually start with the man who is not here, Danny, who went 6-0-1 last week. I will give out his play. So his favorite play, kind of rude, is Bucks +7. They're playing against the Lions. I actually think that's a smart side. I think, especially once you hit 7, I think this one opened at 6 or 6.5, and it's moved to 7 already. I doubt it's going to move past 7. But that's obviously a very good number to get the Bucks at. Baker played really well. These teams played in the playoffs last year, and it was final possession kind of game. So I would expect more of the same there.
I agree. It feels like a 1-score game. I know you can get. I know Andy may have gotten it at a better number, but if it's at 7, it's hard for me to assume Detroit makes it a 2-score game at the end.
Yeah, I laid 6 with Detroit earlier in the week when it was 6. I wouldn't lay the 7 with Detroit, so I would either stay away or go with you guys.
Nice. Hopefully it lands on 6 or 7 for you guys.
Yeah.
Andy, what's your best bet this week?
I'm going with Jets Titans under 40.5. These are two offenses that I don't have a lot of faith in right now. So yeah, hoping, rooting for low or no scores, which I know a lot of people don't like to do, but it is one of my favorite things. Sacks, missed field goals, draw plays up the middle for 2 yards. Oh, it's heaven. I love it so
Just
much.
punts, man. Love me
Yes.
some punts. I guess let's stay on theme here. Matt, let's get your best pick here.
Oh, I love this pick. You may have to do a little research because there's a lot of 16 and a halves out there, but you can find a 17. You can find a 17 and a half, and it'll probably be at minus 130, 135. But if you look, you can find a under 17 here, and here's the play. You got Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos going, and they're hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh has a very good defense this year. They added Patrick Queen to their defense. That classic Pittsburgh linebacker, tough as hell, can play out in coverage, will also hit you. Denver also has a pretty good defense, so considering an under in this game isn't a bad move, but I think this is a better way to go. I am taking the Broncos team total under 17. If the Broncos do score, great. If you get to 17, well, you had a draw, you get your money back. I don't see a situation where they're scoring 18 points, 20 points, 21 points. Not with Bo Nix. Like, you thought Bo Nix got a rude awakening with Seattle. This shit is going to be just downright deplorable when Pittsburgh comes into town. That shit's going to travel really well, and I'll be curious to see how it plays out.
I actually made this exact same bet this past week and lost. And I'm realizing just now and checking the box score that it's essentially because they got two safeties.
Yeah. It wasn't offense.
It would have hit otherwise.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
That angers me a little bit. Yeah, I support it. The Steelers defense might be the best in the league.
Yeah, it's going to be a gross play. It feels bad when you bet a team total under. I also don't think Pittsburgh's going to score that much either. I think Denver has a pretty good defense. This is going to be a really classic Madden called game where he's like, we got the people playing. Like that kind of gruff voice broadcast. Yeah. And it's going to be a slobber knocker. Good. It is a slobber knocker. That's exactly it. Enjoy yourself. Some knocks on a little slobber knocking around.
Knock them slobbers, baby. So, okay, I will give you guys something fun to root for here. My favorite bet is going to be the LA Rams as short dogs here, plus 1.5. You can get it right now in Arizona against the Cardinals. A little bit to what I was saying against Andy. I think that more so than the Cardinals looking good against the Bills, it might be more that the Bills are a little suspect and the Cardinals are just who the Cardinals are. I know the Rams are a little banged up. Puka Nakua's on IR for a few weeks. I know they've got, I think, 3 tackles out. I'm hoping they'll have at least 1 or 2 of those guys back by Sunday. Matthew Stafford looked really good on Sunday Night Football. He was dropping dimes.
He played well too.
With dudes in his face all night. So, yeah.
They're just
he looked good and played well. And, you know, they still have Cooper Kupp, who I don't know the exact yardage he put up 2 years ago, but I'm pretty sure he might have hit 2,000 yards receiving 2 years ago when they were, was that when they won the Super Bowl? Or maybe that's 3. But yeah, that's a tandem that, you know, they haven't lost a step. So they still have weapons. Kyron Williams looks really good in the backfield. They found themselves down early on Sunday Night Football and had to sort of abandon the run. But I think this is a team that can run the ball pretty decent against a Cardinals defense that doesn't stand out to me.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I think it goes to your earlier point that maybe the Cardinals are just average, right? And the Rams have special pieces. They have a couple things that kind of move the numbers in their favor.
Yeah, like if this line was a touchdown, I could see the Cardinals backdooring this. But I think the Rams, especially dropping that first game with the division title in mind and, like, you know, a deep playoff run, still a very real thing for them. They know they need to go out and get a W, and, you know, plus 1.5. Sure, take them the money line if you want. It's, you know, essentially meaningless. but plus 1.5, I'll take the points.
Yep, I like it.
All right, let's tackle some money line plays. Do you guys have any teams you like on the money line that's worth a stab?
Yeah, I like the Packers and the Titans. I think the Packers are obviously they lost their quarterback, but I don't know that the drop off from Jordan Love to Malik Willis is that big. It's definitely big, right? I'm not saying that Malik Willis is better, but I think they could pull this one out. So, and then I like the Titans playing the Jets, going off the theory that the Jets are just bad and they ruin quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that Packers play actually because I think no one was impressed with Malik Willis in Tennessee, but I also don't know if Tennessee actually had like a functional offense while he was there. I think the other quarterbacks on the roster maybe covered up for some, you know, shoddy play calling. I think spending an offseason in Green Bay, maybe he's in a better place. Matt LaFleur is a very good coach. Offensive guy. I think they might be able to game plan something, just to be able to put him in like a game manager role and let Josh Jacobs pound the rock and let a good Packers defense carry them to victory. So I could see it happening. I think obviously there's going to be a lot of betting on the Colts side with the Packers being short Jordan Love, but I think this is a spot that you're going to be rooting with all the books in Vegas along with them on the Packers. I've got a laundry list of teams here that I would consider putting some money on the money line. I might as well just start with the grossest one, the Carolina Panthers.
Oof,
I,
yeah.
I don't think I'm actually going to do it, but I think come Sunday there might be an opportunity because I said this to you guys before. I'm pretty sure every single person with a sports betting account is going to bet as much as they are able to on the Chargers to cover this spread. This is a Chargers squad that looked good against what many people think is a pretty decent Raiders team. Not like a great Raiders team, but a team that's much better than these Panthers. I think the Panthers are pretty consensus like worst team in the league. They have been sports books have been getting killed on the Panthers ever since last year, and it's just continued right through week one. And this is one where no one in their right mind is going to be taking the Panthers plus the points here, especially under a touchdown. So I would expect this one to get or pass 7. So if you want to play the Panthers like a real sicko on the spread, I would wait until closer to game time. But it's probably going to be pretty juicy on the money line. So I could see that being one of those weird games that just like comes out of nowhere. And then I also like Cincy against the Chiefs. I feel like that taking last week out of it, that's a game that could essentially be a pick 'em. And they're getting 6.5 points or whatever it is. So that's, a fairly juicy dog. The Falcons play the Eagles. I don't like that one as much, but that's an option if you're feeling good about Kirk Cousins bounce back. You got Cleveland against the Jags.
I kind of like Cleveland in this spot. I know we've been kind of shitting on them. They can't continue to be that bad. And I wasn't really impressed by the Jags. I was impressed with Brian Thomas from the Jags. I thought that kid looks great. I love LSU football last year. They had an incredible offense. And what often is forgotten with Malik Neighbors is Brian Thomas was really great on the other side. And he translated well early. So I think that could be a fun one. I think I'm going to probably follow you there. It's going to stink, but I could join the ride.
Yeah. And then the other one I have is New England, who is hosting the Seahawks. That's a Seahawks team that looked really bad against the Broncos. They got their act together in the second half and got the W. They're going to be traveling east to New England. New England's got a really good defense. I could see that one happening. So here's the deal. I'm not suggesting to bet all of these or to put these together in a parlay or anything like that. But I would say I'm reasonably confident that at least 3 of those 6 teams will win. That's Panthers, Packers, Falcons, Bengals, Browns, Patriots. And so these are all plus money dogs. So if you go 3-3, you're in the black. But those are the ones I like. I know that's a lot of teams, so I would not be betting full units on this or anything like that. But if you have a good feeling about one of those teams, I endorse it.
Should also put out there that Danny likes the Bucks. He's not here.
Oh yeah,
he
I
likes
mean
Tampa Bay
we don't have to put that out there. If the Bucks can cover, they don't need to win. We'll go with that route. Andy, do you want to walk us through? Well, first off, do you know how the Wong teasers played out last week? And then secondly, what are some good options this week?
I don't know which ones we specifically endorsed on the show as our favorites. I know Danny just said play all of them. They did terrible. They did really, really bad. Because the Giants were one of them. They didn't cover. I'm trying to think what the other ones were. It was really bad. I think there were only 2 that covered. It was Indy and Dallas.
I think. Well, if you had Baltimore, I think Baltimore covered.
Baltimore did. Yes, Baltimore did.
Yeah.
Hang on, I can pull it up here. The Bengals. Okay. The Bengals were -8.5. So you can tease them down to -2.5, and then they lost outright.
Right.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Well, if you're up for it this week, it does. So a few legs. I see a few options here. It would be, well, I guess it's kind of gone now. Or no, now it's here. The Rams +1.5. You can tease them up to 7.5. So that's one. I really like that. The Giants are another one. I think they are they also +1.5?
Yes.
Yeah,
they're +2 at Washington. Both teams are kind of looking like bottom feeders. 8 points is a lot against 2 bottom feeders. So I like that.
And then I think, Matt, you probably are also in favor of this one. It would be Buffalo +2.5. You tease that up to 8.5 against the Dolphins. So I think that Rams-Bills teaser would be a real smart one. Even the Giants, to your point, it's a good-looking leg. I think the Browns are currently +3, but that one might shrink. It's already dropped, I think, a point. So I don't know how much more it's going to drop. But if it gets to 2.5, that's an option there as well. You got anyone else?
Yeah, I have one. You can you can tease your Sunday night and Monday night football together on 2 home favorites and take them at 0.5 point. So all they need to do is win the game. Take Houston against the Bears, tease it down to 0.5 point. So win, you're in, and then take Eagles, tease it down to win against Atlanta on Monday Night Football, right? So you've feasted, you've done all your gambling Sunday afternoon, Sunday late afternoon. You're like, how can I feed the beast on the evening games? This is a good part. This is a good teaser. I know we like to tease up the plus numbers. This is probably a good opportunity to tease down the minuses.
Okay.
On home favorites, right? This should be, in theory, safe money, but it's the NFL, baby. Both of these legs will probably lose.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think those are all worth at least a sprinkle, right? A little half unit, quarter unit, whatever it is. So just to recap, our best bets this week are going to be the Rams +1.5 against the Cardinals, the Jets Titans under 40.5, Bucks +7 at Detroit, and then the Broncos team total under 17 hosting the Steelers, I believe. If you want a ton more plays, I think we've got something like a solid 24 plays this week. Again, subscribe to singlelegparlay.com. Get our newsletter in your inbox. Leave a comment. Let us know what you tailed, how you're doing. We love to see that.
Just make sure you follow us on TikTok. We are killing it there. We went 5-0 last week. If you want to get your plays, digest your plays however you like. You like them in your inbox, you like them in your For You page. You can get them any way you want.
Bet them and win money. That's all. Cheers,
Hell
boys.
yeah. To another PlayStation.
Yeah, another PS5.
Thanks for listening to the newly rebranded Single Leg Parlay podcast. Visit our website at www.singlelegparlay.com, where you can read more of our thoughts, as well as subscribing to our newsletter to have our picks delivered straight to your inbox each week. And don't forget to follow Single Leg Parlay on all of your favorite social media platforms. Cheers!